Hello everyone and welcome to another Guild Wars 2 video. Today we're going to be looking at what happened during the Escape from Lion's Arch Living Story patch. So what interesting happened this patch, you might ask? Well, you know that city called Lion's Arch, like the hub of where all the players gather? Yeah, well Scarlet kind of destroyed a lot of that. So if you remember from last patch, the probe that was in Lion's Arch's harbor turned green saying yes, it found something. Well, Scarlet's come to get whatever it has that it's found. She's brought her giant drill device, which you could see from the Marionette event. She's brought that over and is now drilling into the Bay of Lion's Arch. To be able to keep us from attacking her while she's doing this, she's filled the whole city with a toxic miasma, as well as sending all of the Aetherblades, Molten Alliance, and Toxic Alliance at us. Each of the alliances is basically taken over like a third of the city, and the Aetherblades have the north, Molten the south, and the Toxic the east, and the areas right around the water. The main goal during this update is every hour there is an event, once again, to push into Lion's Arch and try to save the civilians. So basically what you do is you go in there's a bunch of events scattered around, which when you complete them they give bonus civilians rezzed, and also there's a bunch of locals and civilian NPCs scattered throughout the whole city, which you have to encourage to move for the exits, and you have to res them when inevitably something kills them, and you have to defend them to get to that. The players are rewarded more and more the more civilians that they rescue, as well as also the rewards you get from killing the random NPCs throughout the zone. If you rescue the max amount, which is changed to the event, currently it's 1200, if you rescue the max amount you get an ultimate civilian rescue bag, which has a chance at some of the past Living Story rewards, including fused weapon tickets and a bunch of the minis. Scarlet herself doesn't take any direct part in the event beyond sitting on her drill, and neither does my Trin, who is still in the edge of the mist for some reason. Also, you might notice there's a disturbing lack of one army during this invasion, which is there's very, very little of the clockworks. There's a few of them scattered around throughout random parts of the city, but there's nowhere near as many of them as there are of the other alliances. So for whatever reason, she's holding the clockworks back. I would presume to be able to fight or to go down into whatever she's drilling down for in the harbor. This update, by the way, is one of the darkest updates I think they've done so far. There are a bunch of the citizens of Lion's Arch which are missing when you go to the refugee camps, and you can most likely presume that they are dead. If you talk to some of the NPCs in the refugee camps, they also give you some very dark dialogue, including people wishing that they had died when their spouse died, or talking about carrying their dead child out of Lion's Arch and having it taken from them to a mass grave. It's sort of nice of them to actually put that dark of a message here, because it gives an impact to it. If you just go to the Lion's Arch events and just do that over and over, you're like, oh, well, this kind of sucks that she destroyed Lion's Arch, but who cares? You go and talk to the NPCs, and they give some very sad stories behind it. But beyond what all's happening in Lion's Arch, that's pretty much all that's happening in the world. There's 3 refugee camps, which you can talk to people, and the invasion of Lion's Arch. That's what's different this patch. So looking forward, what do we have going into the next patch, which will end up being the very last patch of this section of the Living Story? Well, the next patch we're supposed to be trying to take Lion's Arch back, which means we're going to be going in and fighting Scarlet inside of her drill. The drill, if you didn't know, is still drilling for a ley line, something magical down underground. But at the same time, she's expecting to fight something down there, else she wouldn't have kept her clockwork things back. She would have used them in the invasion. Now the question still remains, which dragon is probably driving her to do this? Which one is she trying to kill so desperately? Primordius is still a big one because it is underground, although it is directly under Lion's Arch and it's in a ley line. Could be possible she's trying to lure him there, but it doesn't really make sense that Primordius would be in a Sylvari's mind already. It makes much more sense if Mordremoth, the jungle dragon, is who she's trying to go after. But once again, why Lion's Arch? All the evidence that points to him points towards the Maguma's waste. There's no reason that this would be happening in Lion's Arch. And you still have the little problem of my Trin is in the mists for some reason. I don't know why she was sent to the mists, but it has to do something with Scarlet's plan. She wouldn't just do that for no reason. I don't really have any more answers than I've had before. There's still just a bunch of theories which are continued on. But I'm looking forward very much to the last patch because I want to see some of the answers that come out of it. Oh, and by the way, a lot of people have been theorizing, are we going to have Lion's Arch back? Are we ever going to get it back? I think we will. Now, will it be the same Lion's Arch we had before? No, I don't think so at all. Most of the buildings inside of the city are completely destroyed, if not very, very damaged. And also, if you've noticed from just running around in the city, or if you see in the video, the water level is down. Because obviously there's a giant hole in the middle of the harbor. That will completely mess up all of the docks, and it could actually, once the hole is drilled all the way through, give us access to some of old Lion's Arches, some of its buildings. It could completely undo the flood that Zaitan caused from raising ore. Now, I hope that ArenaNet doesn't just immediately give us the city back mostly rebuilt and kind of rebuilds it over patches, which I think they're pretty good about that. I mean, they did that with the lion statue, they did it with the lighthouse. They're pretty good about taking their time on rebuilding things, making it look like it had an impact. And that's pretty much all I really had to say about the patch. It's huge what's happened in this patch, but there wasn't really anything that was a huge revelation for us. We knew that Lion's Arch was going to get attacked for several patches now, and this just very obviously confirmed that theory. If you have any of your own theories of why Scarlet's drilling down there, or why it has to be Lion's Arch specifically, please leave them in the comments. If you missed any of the past Living Story updates and you want to try and catch up, I have videos for all of them on my channel. There should be a playlist of all Living Story videos, and I will continue to do them in the future, so look forward to that. Alright, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.